Hi, welcome to the City of Kettering's America 250 History Video Series. My name is John Brannick. I'm the records clerk for the City of Kettering, taking care of the historical records for Van Buren Township and the City of Kettering. You may have seen the TV shows where the man puts on a hat, like Indiana Jones, and goes out and digs up a buried treasure. This isn't like that. There are no buried treasures in Kettering, no ancient temples, but Kettering does have a fascinating history. So join me as we put on the history hat and have some fun. George Washington, Thomas Jefferson, Alexander Hamilton, leaders of the American Revolution and leaders of the new United States of America. What do these people have in common with Kettering? Well, Kettering needed leaders too. And we're here today at Tait Park to talk about some of them. Tait Park was built on land once owned by Colonel Edward A. Deeds, part of his Moraine Farm estate in Van Buren Township. To my right, over the hill, was the estate of Governor James M. Cox, Trails End Mansion. Behind me, on the other side of that hill, was the estate of Charles F. Kettering, Ridgely Terrace. To my left was Colonel Deeds' estate, Moraine Farm, the first house in the country built with its own private airstrip. Edward Deeds was born in Granville, Ohio in 1874. After graduating from Denison University with a degree in engineering, he was hired by the National Cash Register Company in 1899. At NCR, he was responsible for recruiting Charles F. Kettering for the engineering department. Together, they formed a partnership, Delco Products, to create the first self-starters for automobiles. While Delco Products was the first company that Edward Deeds founded, it was not the only one. He was responsible for founding or co-founding a total of 6 different companies. He also served on the board of directors for 28 companies during his long business career. He also founded the Dayton Engineers Club and the Dayton Astronomical Society. But the thing he was most proud of was his work with the Miami Conservancy District, which brought flood control to the Dayton area after the disastrous 1913 flood. Working closely with his neighbor, Governor James M. Cox, Edward Deeds helped draft the legislation for the Miami Conservancy District, which would serve as a model for flood control projects both nationally and internationally, particularly the creation of the Tennessee Valley Authority during the Great Depression. The Tennessee Valley Authority, modeled after the Miami Conservancy District, was one of the primary programs of the New Deal, created by President Franklin Roosevelt during the Depression. Did you know that there's another connection between Franklin Roosevelt and Van Buren Township? Governor Cox ran for president in 1920. His running mate, a young Franklin Roosevelt. Franklin Roosevelt's first foray into national politics. And it started here in Kettering.